This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
I can't believe some of the darn stuff that I read about us.
What's going on, Buff Nation? Welcome back to another video. So there has been this story, I guess we'll call it a story. We'll call it a fairy tale that's been floating around. Players respond, Jordan Seaton, Coach Prime, the governor, all respond back to this. We get some updates on practice. Is it football time? Goodness gracious, these stories are unbelievable, but let's get right into the intro and then we'll dive right into it.
I flush my kids down in the club.
Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome back to another episode here today. So, first of all, we're going to dive into this Jordan Seaton interview. This actually breaks down to a couple of different layers here that I like a lot. One, you get to get an insight of Jordan Seaton. And again, when you hear these stories, these hit pieces, I guess we're going to call that's what we're going to call them. Let me just read you a quick little quote here from one of them, one of the piece here. It's like real life Grand Theft Auto video game, one former player said. There are many distractions with fights, guns, and money floating around. The environment is unlike any I've come from before. So those of you that are unaware of what happened, this article or piece or fairy tale or just make-believe story was written all based off of one former player. And here's my little bit on it, and then we'll get into these players and their reactions of it as well. Unfortunately, we live in a world now, it's fortunately and unfortunately, where people can just run with something. Back in the day, you had to have multiple sources. Think about when you had to write a paper back in high school. You had to have 16 sources to make sure what you were saying had any validity behind it. Now you can go get one person, then go, yeah, this is what happened, and run with it. And here's the problem, why it runs, why it travels the way that it does, especially for somebody like Coach Prime. He has a very outgoing personality. So you got one side that hates it, despises it, and will take any piece of meat and bait you throw in the water and just chomp on it. I don't care if it's outdated, overdue, they will bite it. And you've got the other side that love him and will completely just fight it to the blue in the face with no intentions. And then I like to kind of find myself like, look, what's going on here? What are we doing here? Because, and even Coach Prime says it when he addresses, like, there's always a little bit of truth behind a lie. And I'll get into that. So it's unfortunate because, again, you can just spew drama, and if there's enough negative on one side, it will carry your story to where it actually and legitimately gets legs to where players are being distracted by it. It is just another form of distraction, of just nonsense to be thrown at it. It's mayhem. So when you listen to Jordan Seaton's thing, it's a little bit long, but it's really, really good because he talks about what he thought, going to Colorado was going to be like. And it's very interesting because, look, beat writers are always trying to get a story. So they're asking, like, what do you mean? Because he goes, I thought this place was going to be really, really bad. I have an idea of what I think he was trying to say, and I'll tell you what I think after this. He didn't necessarily articulate it the right way at first, but then absolutely hammers it and brings it home after the fact. And then he addresses like hazing, and again, just listening to him talk. Dude, where is this nonsense coming from? Because he was also brought into this saying that he was getting beat up, getting picked on, things like that, being hazed, I guess you can say. Take a listen, and then we'll talk all about it.
Experience compared to based upon what you thought it might be when you were getting recruited, when they were pitching things to you, has it lived up to the billing?
Better. I actually thought this place was actually going to be really, really bad. This is my opinion. Everybody got their own opinion. But I took a risk, and then me coming in and having Coach Prime and everything he told me that he was going to do, he did. Everything that Coach said he was going to do, he did. And not as far as like, it's better than what I thought it would be. Like, you got the mountains. I've never been out here. I'm from the D.C. area, Maryland area. So it's like, I'm city boy. Out here, we got mountains. You get like a sunny day every single day. I never had that before, so that's good. It's like I'm back at IMG with the Florida weather here,
So you weren't being sarcastic. You thought it was going to be bad.
No, I'm dead serious.
Up until when?
My first day. My first day here. I was like, oh, yeah, I like it.
What did you think it was going to be when you say bad?
Bad, like, nothing really too crazy. Just like, as far as bad, like, yeah, like, you don't know how much money we bringing in here. So, like, you go to other universities, like the Big Tens, the SECs, they got $10 billion contracts, all crazy stuff. So it's like, I thought I was taking risks. But then coming in here, it exceeded expectation. We actually have a great facility. We actually spend a lot of money on food, as you can see, which I was talking about. And everything's just exceeded expectation, from the littlest things to the biggest things for me.
So you said you thought you were taking a big risk. What was it that made you commit, even though you felt like it was a big risk?
It wasn't like a bad risk. It was more of like taking a chance on myself. You know, not too many people want to go to I call this underdog school. You know, a lot of people want to go to a school that's built, a school like Georgia, the Bama's, like where it's like your next guy up. But here it's like you never had no 5-star offensive lineman come here. You don't have a Travis Hunter coming here every time. You don't have a Shador Sanders at QB every time. So it's like a risk in that area. Not really like it's going to be bad or it's going to be a terrible place to live in. Because if it was terrible, I wouldn't even think about visiting the first time. I was very selective of where I went to school at. So just a risk as far as like there's nobody else to do it. So it's like now it's like you can really be the first and like that, if that makes sense to you guys.
Are the older guys cool with you?
Yes.
Because you know NFL, they carry pads and there's hazing. It just happens everywhere. You'll find that out the next level. That's what they do with rookies.
Hazing.
Hazing. You know what hazing is? Rookies got to carry the pads.
Oh, like in the league.
Yeah,
like,
the league. Yeah, that's mild, but that's the average.
Yeah.
Initiation.
Yeah, we don't really have that. For me, freshman initiation is just like listening, you know? Like just listening to the guys in front of me.
How amazing is that, right? We have this whole hit piece comes out and he's like, hazing. What the hell are you guys even talking about? Like he asks as if like, yeah, you're getting beat up and stuff. You're getting picked on. He goes, what? What are you talking about? Love that. Secondly, I'm growing more and more fond of this young man. Every time I hear him talk, I just think the way he carries himself. And look, when he said, look, I thought it was going to be bad. In the sense, here's how I thought. And he kind of wrapped it up very well at the end there. It's like, I thought I was going to go into this place, right? There's going to be a lot to that. We're going to have to be worked on. Not in the sense that it was just going to be a complete dump, but like he said, the Georgias of the world, these programs have been around for a long time. They have the blueprint of sending 5-star guys to the NFL. Colorado may not have it, but Coach Prime promised me that this would be in place. And look, it was. It's fantastic and refreshing to be like, yeah, they told me exactly how it was going to be and how it was going to look. I thought I was going to walk into a little bit more of probably of a rebuild is what he thought he was implying too. It was like, look, this isn't as far back as maybe it's sold from everybody else. You got to think about it. This guy's being told and probably it's a big decision. So he's thinking Colorado. I'm sure there's many voices going, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. You're going to hate it. It's going to be shit on all the time. It's going to be cold, blah, 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 blah. So you kind of create this narrative in your head that's going to be one thing until you get there and realize that it's not. So all in all, fantastic stuff. And then we got the governor. Now I know why Coach Prime calls this young man the governor here, because just the way that he handles it. He handles it just like a politician would. Just under the rug, keep it moving. Great question. Again, they asked him straight up about all the noise, and he nails it on the head. Enough is enough.
Yeah, I think the headline there is like, enough is enough. We're a program that's in the spotlight, and with that, you're going to have a lot of lovers, which are great, but you're also going to have a lot of haters. And, you know, one thing that we recognize on this team is Coach Prime is an incredible man who is in the space of college sports. He's a businessman, he's a family man, and he's also shaking everything up. And with that, you're going to get people who don't like that. And so, I mean, these pieces, it doesn't have any impact on the team. We're still down there, horse blinders on, practicing hard. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, we're working our hardest, and, you know, we've got a coach who's changing the scope of college football, and that's all we care about.
Bro, the guy's perfect. I mean, somebody hired this guy immediately. We got the blinders on. We're just moving forward. We got the coach changing college football. We got a coach, you know, like what more could you possibly ask for? And it's the perfect response. Enough is enough, dude. Let it go. We got haters, we got lovers, we understand that, but let us play some damn football. We're tired of hearing about all the noise. And here's the thing, these guys are interviewed day in and day out after practices. They're at their I wouldn't say weakest, but you understand. You've been hungry and tired and you're getting probed questions. I know damn well, I'm like, why you ask me this dumbass question? I'm tired, I'm hot, and you ask me stupid stuff. These guys are carrying themselves with class and grace consistently. I believe cold-heartedly, you can always get a taste of the culture of the program and what the coach is trying to implement and represent by interviewing their players, and you see what you get when you see these guys talk. If there was the Grand Theft Auto that was going on, I mean, unless he's the greatest politician of all time, the greatest governor ever, and they've got just a couple of guys to keep up a front, I don't know. It would be damn near impossible. The fact that this one piece has legs, enough legs to where these guys got to respond to it, is crazy. And we're going to also look, because Coach Prime kind of addresses it a little bit, but before we dive into that, let's take a look at this. the conference, Big 12 conference odds. This show is brought to you by BetUS. Check out the link in the description if you guys want to get in on top of this action. They're doing a phenomenal deal right now when you use the link below. For your first 3 deposits, you get 125% back up to $2,000. So when you put your money in, you get up to your first 3 deposit, 125% of that deposit up to $2,000. So free money for you, boys and girls, to get that thing. But take a look at these odds, right? Colorado's plus 2,600 to win the Big 12. Nobody believes they can get it done. We did the odds last week for the over-under, which was 5.5. The Big 12, in my opinion, is wide open. Everybody's sleeping on them. Those are incredible. I know people were running to the bank, putting money on them to win the championship last year. That might have been a little aggressive. Big 12, I like these odds. Plus 2,600 with competition that's there. Could be a Utah, Kansas State, Oklahoma State. Those are my top 3, and I think Colorado's going to be playing with those, but you got to like it. You got to like it, especially with 2 Heisman favorites as well in Shedeur and Travis Hunter. So good stuff there. But let's take a look. Again, Coach Prime addresses it very quickly, very subtly, and then moves forward. But it's perfectly said. I love it.
I can't believe some of the darn stuff that I read about us. It is crazy, isn't it? Some of you new guys, now that you in here, I know you got to be saying this don't even make no sense. Where they get this stuff from? Y'all? Who's making up these lies? Because the best lie ever told is the lie that has a little bit of truth in it. That's one of the greatest lies told. Let's not give them anything
It's
to
at the
say.
point, it's like, what are we even doing? Where is this coming from? This is, like, what's happening? Now, I believe where he's coming from when he says a little bit of truth in every lie told is, were there fights happening on the football field? Yeah. Coach Prime said it last year himself. Like, yeah, there was a little bit of fight going on. He goes, I love it. I don't break it up. I'm not going to break it up. Let them figure it out. That's how it's ran. We run it old school around here. I love that. Fights happen every day. There's a clip going rampant right now with Malik Neighbors walking by and smacking one of the retort line players in the head in a full-on fist fight. Now, it's 2 different teams. I understand that, but yeah, grown men out here sweating their ass off, tired. Fighting is going to happen. It's inevitable. So you take that little bit of truth, and it fits the scope of the lie, right? Well, yeah, he did say there were fight happening last year. There must be guns, money, and people getting beat up and slapped around, because that one little bit right there, the rest of it must make sense. And I think that's what he was implying there. As for practice, as for football, Charlie O making a bit of a turn some heads, right? They spoke today that, look, if we were to start the game this Thursday against North Dakota State, he would be running back 1. Very interesting, great story. Walk on, earns a scholarship this year, and seems to be really turning some heads and taking it right now. Also, kind of gave the 401 that offense. They had like a scrimmage type light game on Saturday. Offense looked really, really good. Finally starting to get the momentum going again. When you start early on, defense always has the advantage. Offense has got to get it clicking a little bit. Defense, obviously, you kind of just can take advantage of the nooks and crannies of that offense. Offense starting to find the rhythm a little bit, and it felt a little bit more of a competitive spirit headed into this game. Look, I think this defense had some holes, but I wouldn't say as many holes, but easier fix. That offensive line needed a lot of love, a lot of TLC, and to get that kind of cooperation and that cohesion together. Obviously, you got Travis Hunter playing both sides of the ball too, so if he's on defense playing against offense, he's able to kind of hit the guys like, hey, here's what's about to happen here. So there's a slight edge kind of going back and forth when you play with one another. You can't read too much into it. You kind of just take it what it is and find the small W's. How's this guy performing? How's that guy performing? How does he look? How does that feel? How's that coach doing with these guys? That's what we look for in this fall camp here, because you start watching guys getting picked on and getting picked off and big catches. It's the DBs are trash. The quarterback's fantastic. You know what I mean? There's no right or wrong answer. You're playing against each other. So take it with what you will. But all in all, fantastic show. Hope you guys enjoyed today's content. If you did, you know what to do. Smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace and love, baby.
This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.